Derby Day review, and the good times keep rolling in Paisley, and a sad exit for a special Danish superstar. We'll play the intro. First up, Gernot.
Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Booth Podcast, Season 4, Episode 3. My name is Fennan, and joined alongside me, a man who's going to be full of mixed emotions this episode. Mayhem, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, bank holiday Monday, completely and utterly fucking ruined. Thank you, Brighton. Fucking hate seagulls.
No, not a fan, no.
Nah, they steal your chips. Swoop in the last week of deadline.
Mine.
Swoop in the last week of the transfer windows and take away your star man. But yeah, obviously off the back of a pretty straightforward Sunday for me, and then I felt myself going through the emotions watching the derby, which we'll get on to later on.
Oh, you're telling me, man.
But yeah, for us, pretty comfortable, which was nice. Not to not touch wood, but seemed to cope okay with our MattORiley. I thought Bernardo had a decent game while he was on, and I thought obviously Rio Hatate stole the show, which was nice to see. And I'm sure we'll get onto it later, and he's been linked with moves away as well over the past couple of weeks. He absolutely must stay. We can't afford to lose them both in this window. But overall, it was good for us. Another good start in the game, and ultimately controlling the game. And then all of a sudden, we've woke up on Monday, and we've just been linked. We have actual transfer rumours.
I know it. It's like they know we're going to record this week. It's mental.
It's almost like they were waiting for a big injection of cash before those tight bastards wanted to do anything.
Yes.
Not that the Champions League money was enough. No. We needed more influx. Not that the season ticket sales was enough. Not that you've released 3 kits already that we're all going to end up fucking purchasing anyway because we love our football club but hate the people that run it. Apart from a very small section of bored apologists. Oh, we could be run like Rangers. Oh, you're right. We could also be run like fucking Brighton. So, there's two ends of the spectrum. But yeah, we've come in hot with Monday, linked with wingers. Basically, our left back all but done, and we've had the signed sealed tweet from Fabrizio Romano delivering us that one's basically across the line. And some promising links and some rogue ones that we'll get onto that I think is maybe a little bit of a bam up. But all of a sudden links out of everywhere, a few that have gone quiet, a few that have heated up, a few that have come from absolutely nowhere, all on top of 3 wins out of 3. And we look on now to obviously Derby Day on Sunday, coming off the back of the South Wales Derby, moving into the Glasgow Derby as well. So yeah, it's going to be a big week. Lots of incomings with obviously the draw on Thursday as well, which will be exciting to see who we get in the Champions League and who we're going to, pit our wits against and how we'll shape up and what will the squad look like. So yeah, a lot to get through, and then for ourselves, and obviously then we'll spiral all the way down the country and veer to the right. We'll land in South Wales, and it's a lot to get through.
100%. I mean, like you said, I think you pretty much summed up the Celtic performance down at Paisley perfectly. Like you said, you managed to maintain the level of standards in terms of performances as you have done in the previous 2 weeks or so, and it feels like Callum McGregor doesn't know how to score a bad goal in recent times at the moment. The guy just scores pinger after pinger. Rio Hatate, like you said, absolutely bossed it, ran the show, and honestly never thought there'd be monsoon weather in Paisley at one point, but there clearly was. And so to be able to, withstand very strong weather conditions and to come away with a very comfortable 3-0 win away at St Mirren, I think really sort of, I wouldn't say it's really sort of papered over the pain, and of course we were anticipating it all transfer window, but MattORiley's outgoing to Brighton for what is now going to be a Scottish transfer record. It's nice to see at the same time that they haven't messed about and you've immediately gone into the transfer market and have addressed certain areas that need to be addressed.
Yeah, look, obviously, right back to St Mirren Park down in Paisley, we did what we've done in every other game. We got off to a really sharp start. Callum McGregor, apparently what was holding him back from scoring absolute belters was any kind of influence from Steve Clarke, because he's retired from international football and just decided that he can just fire him in from 20, 25 yards now. And he got us off to a flyer. And whenever you go away, look, St Mirren are very, Stephen Robertson, he did it when he was at Motherwell. He's done it superbly well at St Mirren. It will set his team up. They'll be dogged, they've got battlers in the team like Gogic, who is an absolute hatchet merchant, but he does that job. They've obviously got Rooney that they've brought back up from down south, who went down to play under Scott Brown at Fleetwood, and they've got some big boys up top as well. That we've seen other defenders in this type of game, the likes of very highly rated Christopher Julian when he come for £7 million, and other people struggle against the physicality that we sometimes get at St Mirren or in previous years at like a Livingston or something like that. So we knew the kind of game that we were going into. Like you said, the elements were swirling around in the beautiful Paisley summer weather. So definitely it wasn't going to be easy, but we get the early goal. That settles us down. And we thought there was a few surprises. Obviously, we now know that Nicholas Kuhn had a back issue and couldn't train all week, so that's why obviously Forrest was in the team.
Okay.
Kyogo, I think that we were, again, we've got Adamida in here. There's no need to risk him. He obviously had the shoulder issue. We can kind of judge that going into the derby, into the weekend, but we had that flexibility. So obviously Adamida come in. Bernardo was pretty much always going to be the nailed-on guy to come in and replace MattORiley. I think, like I said, Bernardo, I thought he had a good game. Forrest looks rejuvenated and looks probably the best that we've seen him, towards the back end of last season, the start of this, than we have done for quite a while. Adamida looks like he's maybe just still getting up to speed, not quite at the levels, and I think that's pretty much the consensus, not quite at the levels that he left us at. But still put himself about, some great runs. Was that link-up play, stretching the defence in behind. And I think someone that really unfortunate. I mean, it was just the level of attack his improvements, but I thought Alistair Johnson had a fantastic game as well. For the second goal, beautiful sort of clipped, curving diagonal ball across, and Maeda nods it down, and then obviously Hatate with the beautiful technique on the half volley, weaker foot, smashes it in off the post.
Yeah.
And in other games we've maybe struggled to fully put the game to bed, and thankfully this time round we was able to get the third goal. And I said, it was Kuhn coming in, playing a lovely little delicate ball inside, Alistair Johnson taking it in his path and swooping it into the roof of the net, and from there just managing the game out. We see again Thiago Home coming on, Kyogo come on, Nicholas Kuhn obviously come back on. We see Anthony Ralston come on at left back because Greg Taylor went down.
Left back.
Greg Taylor went down. I mean, didn't look too serious. I don't think he's injured, but obviously at that point we're understanding that we only have one left back, and I think again we just decided to protect him a wee bit, and Anthony Ralston come on at left back. I mean, we just kind of saw the game out pretty comfortably, and another 3 goals, another clean sheet. Schmeichel still barring the game against Hibs with a fantastic header that he could do nothing about. He's not really had anything on his goal that he's had to deal with, so that may change next week. He may actually be needed, but ultimately another quiet day for him. Another day where we were calm and composed. Another day where I don't really think they were challenged all that much, but again, that it would be hard to fault Liam Scales. I think he played good. Still, I think again, as the general consensus would be, if you spoke to any Celtic fan, we need a centre half. But I think for those type of games, you're more than comfortable with, Scales next to Carter Vickers that he's gonna get the job done. So yeah, look, another 7 out of 10, job done, and yeah, we move into what we hope will be a very busy week in terms of transfers for outgoings and incomings. I think Brendan's very keen to get a few off the books and trim the squad a little bit more, and then ultimately add to the squad. There was some rumours floating around that potentially in this week we may break our transfer record. That remains to be seen.
Okay.
Yeah, that remains to be seen as to whether or not that will happen. Obviously, £9 million Odsonne Edouard, the record deal as it stands, but obviously we've broke it in terms of MattORiley leaving, £26 million up front. I think £4 million add-on to a potential package deal of £30 million.
Yeah.
And potentially, that could ignite us to go and spend and potentially even break the club's record fee, which I think, as much as we want to spend money and we want it to be, obviously we want to be sustainable and all that, I think it's about time that Celtic showed that ambition. You look at clubs throughout Europe constantly breaking their records year on year on, unless there's a ridiculous fee that they pay, obviously, but most clubs are going and breaking that year on year. And I think with the money that we have, plus the influx that's just coming from MattORiley, there's no reason why we couldn't go and potentially sign a player for 10 million.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then, especially with the MattORiley money coming in, there's no excuse not to go back out there and, again, invest into the squad and bring in some good quality in certain areas. And I've seen a few individuals that Celtic have been linked with. Obviously, you mentioned there's been a left back that you've been linked with and agreed a fee for, a Spanish left back, I believe.
Yeah, so Alex Valley.
Alex Valley, yeah. There was from the Bundesliga. I can't remember if it was Augsburg or Nuremberg. Engels.
Yeah, Arnie Engels. So the Alex Valley deal was a loan deal. There is no loan to buy option. I think what was reported earlier in the media is he had a £3 million or €3 million release clause. However, Barcelona have extended his contract for a year, ergo that minimal release clause isn't there. Again, it's back up in the region of €30 million. So he's in on loan, expected to be, as we talk now on the Monday, around about 7:00 in the evening, that he's in Glasgow completing his medical. So hopefully that one should be done and dusted pretty quickly. The attacking midfield from Augsburg, like you said, Arnie Engels, we submitted a bid apparently last night, £6.5 million, that was rejected. However, negotiations are well underway, and it's believed that when Celtic go back in, it'll be a package deal that also will be more than happy to accept. Again, roughly, I think they're looking for about £8.5 million to €12 million. So, whatever the package is there, we're going to be spending a decent amount of money to bring him to the club and attacking midfielder more, I think, within that kind of MattORiley mould.
Yeah.
Out of absolutely nowhere, we've been linked with the Lazio winger Gustav Isaksson, the Danish.
Yes, I did see that
winger
one as well. Yeah.
Apparently signed for €10 million for Lazio last season. So again, you're thinking that he's only been there for a season. Maybe they haven't taken to him. They don't want him, but you doubt that they're going to want to take a big loss on him. So you would imagine he would be in and around that kind of €10 million mark. There's obviously the midfielder from LAFC, Mateusz Bogus. Again, the negotiations are expected to pick up again. They were waiting for LAFC, wanted to wait for the completion of
Polish.
Yeah. They wanted to wait on the completion.
My Football Manager knowledge,
I think they wanted to wait on the completion of the MLS Cup final or something. They lost to Columbus Crew in the final on Sunday or early hours of Monday morning, whatever it would be for us. So that's done and dusted. That's out of the way. So whether or not we go back in, will Celtic go and sign Engels, which looks, the negotiations we further than, and then go and sign Bogus as well. Again, he's reported to be around about 8.5 million. So are we going to go and spend roughly 17 million pound on two midfielders? I doubt it. But who knows? And yeah, that's the kind of hot links that's come out. The ones that have gone quiet, the Alvin Sanchez, which I think he is a Swiss. Yeah, I think he plays in the Swiss Super League as a winger. That one's kind of gone quiet. Obviously, again, the Austin Trusty, the centre-back, the American centre-back that plays with Carter Vickers in the national team. There was a lot of reports there that Sheffield United were interested in Mikey Johnson, and that could be part of a package deal, sort of him going one way and us going the other, maybe with a fee. But that seems to have gone a little bit quiet. But I think I'm pretty confident we will get a centre back in. Kobayashi is obviously gone out the door. Lager Bielka looks like he's going on loan to FC Twente. So the fact that we're allowing those two to go out the door, you would imagine, puts us in a position where we maybe think that we're going to get one in. And an article that dropped just a couple of hours ago saying that in terms of the people that we're open to listen to business for, Lewis Palmer is in that. Mikey Johnson, obviously, but we've expected that. Yang is apparently on that list.
Ooh,
And the
okay.
Rosski as well is apparently that we're open for business, as some would refer to. So
by any chance?
Definitely not. No, but sure we've slapped him on a massive contract. And I think, like I said before, he's earned his right to be a squad player at Celtic. With his performance last season, and the way he started the season. I think he's barring. I think it was the Hibs game at Easter Road. I don't really think he's had too bad a performance, and even then that wasn't awful. It was a clean sheet, but it was just some very Liam Scales things that he done in that game. So yeah, I think he's more than earned his right, and I think we would feel more than comfortable for going into a lesser game, and we say just because we're linked, when we bring in this Austin Trusty, and he's feeling a bit jaded, or he's played a lot of football, and we're going into December. He's just played up at Pataudry, and then we've got Ross County at home, and Brendan decides that Liam should be coming in for that game. I think we're more than comfortable that he can come in and play that role. What we're saying is, under the bright lights of the Champions League and the big games, that the places where we really need to go and have an impact, the likes of Pataudry, the likes of Tynecastle, these places, that's where there's a little bit of worry when you have Liam Scales. And we see, although thankfully he's moved on now, we see players like Majewski really target Liam Scales and have quite a lot of success last season. So hopefully that'll get done. But yeah, left back looks all but there. Like I said, we've had the old Fabrizio stamp, the tweets out, so hopefully that should be completed. Arnie Engels, it looks like the negotiations are maybe a wee bit further down than we thought. So hopefully we get that across the line. And then, with the people that are apparently open to leaving, like we're talking about Palmer leaving and Yang, does that indicate that, this Gustav Isaacson rumour has come from nowhere, but has some heat to it. But I still think priority was, we needed a left-sided centre-back, or someone at least that was comfortable playing on there next to Carter Vickers, and a left-back. The left-back part looks done. The centre-back, and then obviously, MattORiley leaving meant that we needed at least one more in there. So I think across this week we'll get at least 3 done. That'll be a left-back, that'll be Arnie Engels, and hopefully a centre-back. Any more than that, I think would be an absolute blessing. And who knows, maybe in the 11th hour we'll drop a €10 million, break the club record, and bring in an absolute superstar winger. I don't know if that is Gustav. I don't know if he would be that, but if we're going to spend that amount of money on someone, you'd hope he would come with a lot of pedigree.
100%, and trying to put together like a portfolio of Gustav Isaksson. I've seen that he, like you said, he only joined Lazio last season for a fee of 10 million. Came from Midtjylland in Denmark, and it feels like he's one of those players who has come with a lot of promise and is going to be a huge prospect who could be like a surprise package for Lazio. Hasn't quite got the game time that he was expecting when he made that big move, and it's a big move, like going to Serie A anyway. And perhaps maybe Lazio can see it as an opportunity to cash in, as they may not see him as a first team player going forward, and it's a strong opportunity and a big move for someone like Isaksson's profile to move to a big club like Celtic and to really rubber stamp his name as as a top player.
I think what happens as well is the MattORiley deal, as painful as it is, what it does do is it reminds players around the world, all right, this is a viable channel to go to the next place. So Matt going to Brighton and being sold for a substantial fee, I think that goes, all right, well, this is a viable place for me to go and to progress.
Yeah, he could play super agent in this role, MattORiley, surely.
So
you know what I mean?
And he's maybe we've got Casper there. He can have a little whisper in.
Absolutely.
And he's here, and Matt's obviously a captain international as well. Get on the phone, Matt.
A Danish influx going on here.
Your part in gestures should be go there and deliver. And yeah, look, it's nice. It's nice that the left back position seems, because that's definitely been an area that we've been crying out for with wasted money in that position. Laxalt, Bolingoli, fucking Bernabé. In recent years, it's been a difficult.
It's been painful.
Yeah, it's only a loan deal, but obviously the Gustav Isaksson sounds like a Celtic deal as well. Apparently the report is, I think it's from an Italian source, is that it's a loan with an obligation to buy. It sounds very Celtic-esque. It sounds very Jota, Cameron Carter-Vickers, that kind of, Paolo Bernardo, that kind of, right, we'll loan you with the obligation to buy. So sounds very Celtic that we'll get him in, but then we'll only be paying that next season when we're not quite spending all the money. We've got all this money, but we'll save some of it. So yeah, and the absolute left field link out of nowhere that just seems to have appeared, which is a little bit worrisome. And I'm saying that for myself, but also a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter, there is a little bit of worrisome that this link has come from nowhere, and it's Odsonne Edouard. Apparently Celtic are interested in linking up. Now, if that's the case, and I think what a lot of people are thinking, if that's the case, then I can't see Odsonne coming to battle against Ida and Kyogo.
I don't think it makes too much sense him coming.
Hope it does make sense now, but I think what a lot of people is does that mean that Kyogo's going?
Yeah.
And then Odsonne's coming in.
Wasn't he with Man City like last week or something?
Kyogo, yeah. So who knows? I can't see Odsonne coming back into the current state at the moment. Of Brendan obviously said as well that Daisy Maeda would be used as that third choice. So I can't see that happening unless we're putting the feelers out in case Man City do come in and bid for Kyogo, at which point are we looking to activate that and go and bring in Odsonne. So I think that's a bit left field. I don't expect that to happen, so I don't expect Kyogo to leave. But yeah, that one was left field out of nowhere today. So I think that one's a little bit strange. But the rest of them, they sound like in our mould. Obviously the left back from Barcelona, Young, was on loan at Levante last season. haven't seen too much of him, but obviously, you have to come with some kind of pedigree to come through that Barcelona academy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then if you're looking at Gustav, Isaacson, 23 years old, good age. Arnie Engels, 19 years old, again, a good age to bring in, that a little bit more quality and, that next kind of level, because they've been playing at obviously Serie A and Bundesliga respectively, but also with the potential to grow. And then, a centre back, I would be happy if we decided that, right, they're our guys that could, if we do get Gustav in, right, we're going to nurture him and he could be our next £25 million player. Arnie Engels, he could be our next £25 million player, and we say, right, actually, we're just going to go and sign the 27-year-old centre back, and he's going to be the guy next to Carter Vickers for the next 3 years or whatever. So I doubt that'll be our plan. I'm sure we've probably got someone else lined up that ultimately we would hope would have some kind of sell-on value, but I think there's also there is limits to it. Going to do those business, and you look at what we've done between the sticks in recent years, Joe Hart and Kasper Schmeichel having that real solid base. Cameron Carter-Vickers coming at a good age as well, who is moving into the prime of his career and has been arguably the best centre back that I've seen at Celtic in my lifetime. There's some other people in there. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk was amazing, but for other reasons, really, the way that he just completely strolled the league. There's some other obviously worthy contenders in there, Bobo Balde and stuff like that, but arguably Cameron Carter is the best centre back of my lifetime. So it shows that you go and spend that on a ready-made defender, that it could pay dividends. And I was a little bit sad that I know that we were never in for him and it was never a link, but when I was seeing how well Joe Rodon was doing at Leeds, and there he is, a left-footed centre back.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, look, he's going back to Tottenham. Can we get on the phone to Ange and say he's quite good? He's a little bit shit as well. Do you want to send him up the road? Just completely try and blag him out. I don't think he's going to enter your team, but I think that's probably the mould that Celtic are more interested in. But that kind of younger centre back. But I would like him to go and I was thoroughly encouraged when we were talking about the likes of Chris Mepham. Again, controversially, when you signed Callum Chambers, I kind of thought, well, experienced, good, decent pedigree, played at a decent level. Would I have been a little bit underwhelmed? Probably, but would it be one that we'd have grown into when all of a sudden we were like, all right, this guy's a big step up? So
you just think it could have been worse, and you know which name I'm thinking. Yeah,
100%. So I think we've been a little bit burnt as well. We've had the likes of we've had Shane Duffy up, and we've had Nat Phillips up, and these players that we've taken risks on that haven't worked. But I think if we go and sign someone like Chris Mepham, who's that's gone absolutely flat dead. I think it's completely dead now. But if we were to go and sign that kind of mould of player at 26, 27-year-old to come in and say, right, we're happy that this is the guy, but we're going to take a hit on him. We're probably not going to move him on, and if we do, it's going to be minimal. But he's going to vastly improve the squad, and we've got the loan for the left back, Alex Valle, that apparently Barcelona have only extended his contract by a year, so maybe they're open to negotiations if he does well in Scotland. We get Arnie Engels in, we maybe look to bolster in the wing, the wider areas, then maybe we don't have to take such a project view for the back. But saying that, of all the links today, there hasn't been a centre back, so maybe that's just me trying to be very optimistic.
Well, I mean, look, there's still some time to go, and I do feel there's a strong sense of buzz and excitement for what is going to be a very proactive week for the club in terms of incomings, some outgoings. Will be a big sigh of relief. The likes of Mikey Johnston potentially leaving the club at long last.
Yeah,
and then, of course,
not
the
another
Champions
loan
League draw as well. Like, obviously, a new structure coming in. Just 8 fixtures instead of being stuck in a group of 3 other sides who are just complete giants when it comes to playing Champions League football, like your Barças, your Bayerns, PSGs, whoever. I think with this new structure now, And I don't know how the draw really works out in terms of simulating who you come up against, but surely there's a bit more. There's got to be a stronger sense of optimism going into that.
Yeah, I think the way that the draw kind of filters is there'll be two big teams, if you want to call them that. There'll be the Giants of Europe, and then as it sort of incrementally goes down, it will drop down a little bit, and there'll be some more winnable, some winnable fixtures there. So it's exciting. It's a new format. God knows how long it'll take to draw this. If the group stage took nearly fucking 27 hours, this will probably take about 3 weeks. But yeah, it's nice to get excited about that. Good to be in it, reap the rewards. Again, shout out last week. Thank you, Kiev, for again bolstering the bank balance.
Oh, you took it from me. You took it from me. I was gonna be like, yeah, you'll have 2 games against the likes of like Man City and AC Milan, then you'll have your PSVs and your Dynamo Kievs.
Oh no, I think they're currently
they're a bit more down. Like it'll be like PSV and
I think they're 2. I think they're 2 down to Salzburg actually in the playoff round. So Kiev may not be getting to the league stage format, but yeah, it's going to be an exciting week. A lot going on. Like I said about MJ, if he does go, I hope for him, the club, and everybody connected with him, it's not another loan move. He can just go, and we can look back on his time and be disappointed because he joined with such prospect. He was a prospect and such kind of potential. And it hasn't worked. And at times, you can see there's a player in there at times. Obviously, he did well in his first little half stint at West Brom and then kind of faded away. I don't think he's ever really had a spell like that at Celtic ever. So, again, Sheffield United were apparently interested. I don't know if that's still the case, but, if we can get that, I think it's best for everyone. I think for everybody at a certain point, you just have to draw a line under some points of your career and say, I wanted to play there, or I wanted to make an impact, that was my dream, whatever. But for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out, and it's best to move on. And I think Yang as well is maybe it's a little early there. Palmer, I don't see it whatsoever.
Yeah, I think you've got to base it off of the whole of last season as well. When we were sat here and thinking, it's give them time, and it always gets to the point of like, how long can you give these players to play such a vital role in Celtic's setup? And it's it was an area where Brendan Rodgers didn't really get the opportunity to really strengthen. I think now is that time that's going to come along, and that is going to completely push Palmer and Yang out of the reckoning completely.
Yeah, look, Palmer, I hate to say it, but looking back on it now, it feels like a panic signing. I don't think we did the best that we could have done in terms of replacing Jota. Especially now, if we're going out and identifying that there's this guy at Lazio, right? Well, he was available a year ago because he was brought for €10 million a year ago.
Yeah.
So this guy was available, and the best that we could come up with was Lewis Palmer, and yeah, he's had some good moments. I mean, technically, with the ball at his feet, the guy's decent. He's just devoid of any kind of pace. He has no ability to go anywhere outside.
He almost had the best moment in a Celtic shirt when his goal was ruled out in the Champions League. And I think was it Lazio? You had an Italian. Was it Lazio or Atletico where he scored and had it ruled out by VAR?
Yeah, I think it was Atletico Madrid. I think. Maeda gets like the smallest touches on it, and obviously he's offside because of it. So yeah, like he played well in that match as well. I think he actually ended up scoring it. It may have been the Lazio game actually. Now I think about it, because he played very well in the Atletico, and we drew 2-2. And obviously, if it was the Lazio game, obviously we conceded late. That whole group stage is a bit of a blur now, to be honest. What I really remember is just Lager Bielka nodding to beat Feyenoord. Fuck the rest of it, that's all right.
That's the only bit we want to remember.
So, but I mean, we're talking about money coming into the club. That draw will come out on Thursday, and then they'll drop the Champions League package for the 4 home games. So go and spend the fucking money, Celtic, because you're going to bag it back anyway when you drop that package for 200 quid and everyone fucking buys that. Go and spend the money, all right?
Do it.
We're in the last week here. Don't leave it till fucking we're scrambling around on Thursday, panicking, trying to get all the paperwork done for Friday. Let's just get it done. If Augsburg are saying that we can't let this guy go for 9 million, then just go pay 9 million. Right? We've just bung in 26 million up for it. Just go pay 9 million. Happy days, that's done. You can tick that one off. And then let's go and get some more deals done, get them over the line, and let's not be fucking about on Friday trying to get things across the line at midnight.
Exactly.
But there'll be, I love the Celtic fans. It'll be beautiful. There'll be people watching every flight out of Rome to Glasgow now.
Oh, you get those fans too? Christ.
Ah, beautiful, yeah. Private jets just left Rome.
Ridiculous. Unbelievable. Those fans are just a different breed.
Trains just left Sheffield, heading to Glasgow. It's trusty on it. So yeah, hopefully we'll
Guy's got his hood up on the train, sat next to me. I think it might be Mikey Johnston on his way down.
He probably would have to catch the train.
I definitely got his hood up as well.
So yeah, a busy week, but yeah, we've got a lot in it. Like I said, hopefully some activity in the transfer market, a draw to look forward to as the sole representation of Scottish football in the Champions League, and then we move on to Derby Day. And speaking of Derby Day, it was the perfect time to
that was smooth
to swap across, because I'm not going to lie, I watched the end of the Formula One, so I didn't quite catch the first half of the first half, which was maybe to my benefit. But
can't say it
certainly I can get an okay result, and I reserve saying that because I think anytime you don't beat your rivals, you can't really say it's a good result. But the fact you're away from home, the record that you've had at the Liberty or the Swansea or whatever the fuck, they change their name every 2 fucking weeks down there, right? Whatever they call it now in Jackland, like I said, preserved of saying it was a good result, but some passion, some desire. It all boils over with Errol Bullitt and then Perry NG and was it Ruben Colwell, and it all gets flamey, which we love to see in the derby. But break it down. Like I said, I didn't see the start of the first half, and from what I was gauging from the commentators, Swansea were pretty dominant in that spell and obviously got the opener. But the man that I was pleading, Errol, please bring him off the bench and take off whatever the fuck was up top, mate. Because whatever was pretending to be a striker up top, he ain't it. And Robbo come on and finally has his moment in this derby. He's had a lot of moments in this derby, not great, but he finally gets some moment, and Ollie Tanner gets attacked by a advertising board, which that will go down in the
the fan has actually come out and apologised on Twitter to him as well, by the way.
The Cardiff historians will forever echo that in the chambers. Do you remember what happened after Robbo scored at the Liberty? Fucking the Bet365 advertising board nearly chopped Ollie Tanner's leg in half.
Yeah, I know, and it was a fucking big gash as well when he showed it in his post-match interview afterwards. But if I'm being completely honest, this is the most satisfied I've been with a draw ever. In fact, I was buzzing with a draw because going to, like I said, I don't know what they call it now, the Swansea.com stadium. We do not have a good record, full stop. We've in the last 12 meetings down in Swansea, they've won 8 times out of 12. So not a good record at all. And that's why, the fact that we came away with a point from that game was, I was honestly really, really, really happy with it. And yeah, no, like you said, it was a blessing in disguise that you missed the first bit of the first half, because I felt the whole game in general was a matter of two halves, because we allowed them to have the ball and have possession. We didn't press them. We took a very cautious approach, and if we even got hold of the ball, it felt like we were really trying to get them on the break, but they would press us, especially if we had a goal kick. Where I'm so anti like build up play from the back with Cardiff, because we don't really have that quality to do it now. I don't think we ever have done, and it felt like we're like 3 or 4 steps behind teams that just read us like books. Like they will play out from the back. They press the back 4. We lose possession, or we hoof it forward, and either way, we don't create anything out of it. And that was pretty much the whole first half. The goal was heavily unfortunate. I felt bad for Ethan Horvath, and I was quite surprised that he was starting in net, based off of the performance against Burnley and the mishap he had for the first goal at Turf Moor last week. I was amazed.
He looked nervy, didn't he?
He looked
throughout the whole
nervy.
game. And obviously, the crowd was on his back, like every time he got the ball, and the commentators seemed to exacerbate any time that he dropped a ball and then scrambled it again. He also got kicked in the head by Darling. How that guy stayed on the fucking football field seems to be beyond me.
I'll get on to Harry Darling, but I'm going to start off with this fucking Neymar. The next Neymar, the Championship Neymar that's come and graced South Wales and come down to Swansea, is going to light the fucking Championship up. Horvath makes a fantastic save from his attempt, and then it's just unfortunate that Liam Cullen follows up. He can't do much.
Always that cunt.
Always him. Yeah, fuck him and all. But all this shit about Ronald being like, the second coming of Neymar. I mean, if you're talking about the second coming of Neymar and what he fakes to be injured for a month in March to go home and shag his sister, then by all means, yeah, that probably would be the second coming of Neymar. And he probably does shag his sister, so he fits well in at Swansea. But and so, yeah, no, we started to sort of grow into the game a little bit again. Didn't create much. Like I said, we allowed them to have possession and really dictate that first half. But then the second half came in, and there were changes that definitely have to be made. I mean, Wilfred Kanga up top was just completely ineffective. I mean, he had one. He got one shot off in the first half where he just puts it narrowly wide at the top corner, but again,
that goes in the top corner. We're talking about him in a completely different light. Who's this fucking superstar?
Yeah, I know, right? And I don't know, like, it's a bit conflicting, because I feel, how many times can you keep criticising the striker? Like, I know that we've had many strikers on the books in the past years since Kiefer Moore who have just not been able to fill his boots, but then questioning at the same time, well, they're not really getting much service either. And so I don't know if that just comes down to,
for me, right? See, and it's difficult to draw these comparisons, and I'm drawing them very loosely, so no one get on my back too much. But the only way that I can see it is like when we go away in Europe, right? Our striker has a different role than they normally would.
yeah.
And for me, Cardiff going to Swansea, there should be a different onus. That guy's got to take the ball in. Look, Swansea have always been a possession team, right? They're going to dominate possession at times, right? You're away from home. The impetus is on them to go and win the game. Obviously, it's a derby, so it's on you a little bit as well, but more so the home team to go and have it. But he's got to take that ball in. He's got to stick. He's got to give his defence time to breathe. I didn't see it. I didn't see these, he's got to spin off. Like it's basic centre forward, spin off centre back, run the channels, give him something else to think about. And the one time he kind of puts himself about, he gets the ball and like you said, then he bends it in the top corner.
Yeah.
And for the way that Errol Bullock, from what I've seen with Cardiff at the time that Bullock, he wants to push up, he wants to press. Robbo seems like that perfect player to initiate that first press, to go and then run at an angle, make sure that the defender's going to pass it the direction that you want to activate that trap, and then go and press into an area. And look, sometimes they'll play through you and that'll happen, this guy just seems so laboured and delayed in going to do that. But yeah,
You just got to look at the differences. Like in the first half, we had Ramsey sitting higher up than Kanga was, and then we made that change in the second half where we brought Robbo on for Kanga, and then we dropped Ramsey back for Robertson, who I thought had a really good league debut for us. I must give him credit, and especially where he's come in to a huge magnitude type of game, and again, like throwing Jesper Dorland in as well for Dibby Gutas as well. What an unbelievable debut from him as well.
Yeah, he looks. If you are going to build up from the back,
someone who fucking comes forward and does a roulette but past two players, mate. Honestly, like I came. What can I say? Like it was unbelievable.
He looks. Obviously, all the reports were that he was comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, and he really is.
Sometimes overplayed a little bit, but that's the kind of you've got to and throw with these kind of players. If he's going to be comfortable, sometimes unfortunately, the truth is he's going to get caught with it. But yeah, I thought he looked.
Yeah, what a breath of fresh air to have in your back line. Like I was really impressed with him. Robertson, I thought I didn't like the idea that Bullock brought him off, but I don't know if that came down to match fitness purposes, and so play it safe, bring Robertson off, drop Ramsey deeper. I felt Ramsey again just wasn't there. I mean, of course, I know it's a South Wales derby, and he's probably more there for to be influential and be a vocal point in the side to just keep that morale high. But in terms of his performance, I don't think he really contributed too much. I felt it was so much better when Ruben came on and he went behind Robbo and managed to pick these balls up in pockets and drive forward and encourage Tanner to get down the right flank, because Yaku Mate did fuck all, as I expected.
Yeah, Rambo, it felt, and I might be wrong, I may have said it, but for me, a lot of the time, he was the first pass in the midfield. It was going straight back to the defender.
Yeah.
Who was the first pass? It was going to the wing back, and then they were going back to it didn't feel there wasn't any sort of hurtful passes that he was playing. It was always safe. Yeah. And I don't know if that's because if you're 1-0 down, you're away from home. He doesn't want to be the guy that makes the mistake. But yeah, shout out. We've been saying, the real Slim Shady needs to step up, and he come off the bench. And Ruben Colwell, I thought when he come on and when he got on the ball, which wasn't all that often because said a lot of it was played sort of at the back and a lot of Swansea wrestling. But when you did have those combinations and you got Ruben on the ball, I thought he was looking to be hurtful, he was looking to be direct, and plays a pivotal part in. The moment of the day. Talk us through it, because I was up out of my seat, so I can only imagine that the whole of Stockholm was wondering what the fuck was going on.
Well, this apartment building's still just about standing, and I have not had any people knock at my door, and I'm very surprised with that. And so, honestly, what a moment, and this is what I was talking about with Ruben Colwell, just picking this ball up in little pockets, spinning off a man, and then just directing a ball forward, and he plays this perfect ball split through between Josh Tiemann and Ben Cabanjo, sets Ollie Tanner through, plays a perfect ball back to Robbo, and this man who was once upon a time the villain in his last South Wales derby makes himself a fucking hero and finishes it first time into the far corner, and you'll never get any limbs better than that from the away following, by all means. The boards being pushed over and Ollie Tanner taking a massive chunk of it. It's like, this is what derbies are about. And it felt like for the first time in a long time that our players are really up for it as well. I mean, fucking squaring off with Harry Darling, like Ruben getting in his face. It's funny when Harry Darling comes across a player who's bigger than him, he shits the bed. So that's quite fucking ironic. He wants to pick on O'Dowd and think he's, Bertie Big Bollocks. I'll tell you something about Harry Darling, right? He's the ugliest cunt I've ever seen in football. 100%. Someone who is younger than us and has a fucking hairline like that. Look at the fucking state of you, you ugly ginger piece of shit. Like, he is nothing special. Wants to make himself look hard in a fucking South Wales derby, but does fuck all for the rest of the season. He is nothing. The guy's fucking gum on the fucking sole of my shoe. And he fists his sister. Fucking hate him. He should have been sent off as well. And we'll get on to that as well. This red card from Errol Bullitt. I can't remember the name of the referee we had in this game. That's it, Oliver Langford. Poor performance. Absolutely poor performance. Gave so much. And like, I'm not being, I had this, like, I was talking to Mira on the phone about it, and she's like, oh, but you always complain about the referee. Like, you fucking watch the game. Dog shit.
What,
completely incompetent.
Did Swansea have an argument for a penalty? Was the hand up? The ball definitely hits the arm.
If there's VAR, it's a penalty. If there's VAR, it gets given. There's no argument about that. I completely forgot about that incident in Callum Chambers. Yeah, it's a penalty. You can't deny it.
Cardiff have had some fortunate moments in that box. Do
you remember the Kipre one? Oh my word! Maradona 2.0. That was, yeah.
I felt the ref. What he was trying to do, I think, is keep a lid on it, and ultimately, maybe didn't stamp his authority on it enough. The Errol Bullitt situation, I think common sense needs to prevail. Like, clearly, he's got the ball, okay, but Aaron Ramsey's got a head injury. I don't think Ramsey does him any favour.
Throw as well, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's a Cardiff throw. So he's got that wrong initially. He hasn't stopped play with it being a head injury to Rambo. And then he's got Carl Norton up his arse. Like, they'll be, oh, this is Carl Norton's 150th appearance for Swansea. That says a lot about you and your fucking career as a footballer. Wank.
Yeah, obviously, tough games to referee. I think the key points. I don't think either side will come away thinking that the ref had a particularly positive game, which I think is always a reflection on a ref not. If two teams that ultimately hate each other can agree that the ref didn't have the best day, then he's probably had a shit performance. But yeah, but it's all handbags. I think a yellow card sorts that out. I don't think you need to.
No, in the last minute as well. Like, last minute, there's no need for it. And I don't really think he's wasted time. He hasn't. I mean, okay, he may have, shouted at Carl Norton and Fulton a little bit, but there's nothing too extreme in it at all. Like you said, like, it's a booking. Like, fair enough, I'll give it a booking because he holds up the ball, and yes, initially Langford hasn't made a decision to stop play for Ramsey to receive treatment, and so a yellow's fair. I think a red is really harsh.
Yeah, ultimately time wasting. If he doesn't hold on to the ball and the ball gets put down and Aaron Ramsey jumps up and kicks the ball away so they can't take it quickly, the ref books him. It doesn't send him off. So seemed a little bit strange. I think he was maybe playing up to the home crowd a bit, the fourth official. As I don't know if he's been getting it in the year, but I think he had a lot to do with it as well, and seemed completely unwavering. Didn't want to have a conversation with Errol once the card had been shown and he was sent off. So it'd be interesting to see if Errol popped down afterwards into the referee's room to get an explanation. That would be interesting to see.
Oh, man.
What the explanation was, because red card for time wasting is a hell of a stance to put out there. Yeah.
Well, I think the club have actually come out and said they are going to appeal the red card decision. I mean, what I just loved about the game itself was that we were, just key individuals like Colwill, NG, even Errol Bullitt themselves, like, rattling their cages. It's so good to see, like, to just get in their fucking heads. With these wank stains like Harry Darling and fucking Liam Cullen. You need these big characters to really stand up and, like I said, ruffle a few feathers in their way as well. Like, that's what a derby should all be. And it's felt like for quite a while that we haven't had those big characters and those individuals that are, willing to really just get in their faces and really reassure the importance of what this game is, because it's massive for us. And honestly, to go to their ground and to come away with at least a point, I'm a happy man, essentially.
Yeah, you've got to be combative.
Yeah.
In those games, you've got one to be. I would like to have seen them be. Or I don't know the tactics, but I would like to have seen them been a little bit more combative and a lot more pressurized on Grimes, because I think again he had a little bit too much space, and they were waxing lyrical about his 93% fucking pass accuracy, as they do. It seems that yes, we get it, he can pass a fucking ball, right? But
we had 63% possession against Burnley and fucking shit 5 goals. What did he do? Does nothing.
So, but he's the linchpin and for them. So I'd like to have seen him been a little bit more poised to stop him playing. But I think in the second half, it was end to end. It was more open. That's probably not what the game plan was, but I think it worked in your favour. Allowed people to get into the game in the first half. And apparently, Ollie Tanner just doesn't do fuck all for a season, but he shines on Derby Day.
Playing the Jackso, doesn't he? It's brilliant, and in a weird way, I kind of take that from a player like Ollie Tanner. just leave him on the bench for the rest of for the remainder of the games, and just have him come on in the South Wales derbies. But I felt, like I said, the subs made the big difference, and I think that was going to be a big key for us in that second half in terms of opening the game up and bringing on individuals who were going to just quick fire us into attacking scenarios and show some urgency, that aggression going at them. And it was nice to also see El Ghazi get his first minutes in a Cardiff shirt as well. An individual who looks so off it at the moment.
Yeah, he looks short of match fitness, but we know he's a player and he's going to need to be built up. And again, such a difficult game to make a debut in as well. It was the atmosphere was going to be white hot. You're away from home. You're 1-0 down at that point as well, so you're being brought on to try and affect the game. So, I'm sure there'll be far more dazzling performances from him as the season goes on. But nice to get some of those players on the field, making debuts and starting to announce themselves to the Cardiff faithful. And I know it's a cliche, but this is the kind of thing that can springboard a season. Yeah. We haven't played overly well, and against our biggest rivals, we've come away with a point. First goal scored of the season, first point of the season on the board. Time to kick on. What about let's flick over to Morgan Romanio here. Are you going to give us any exclusives? Are you close? Is there anyone else potentially rumoured to be entering the capital city, or is anyone potentially departing? What has the interwebs told you today?
So, I mean, there isn't a lot of big names that we're linked with at the moment. Of course, we brought in Jesper Dorland as a direct replacement for Mark McGuinness, who we managed to recoup £10 million for, which I thought was like I said, it was a very, very good piece of business done by the club. And of course, Mark McGuinness, I think it was the case of that he wasn't going to get first team minutes with Chambers coming through the door and Gutas solidifying his place, and so was a good move to a good club in Luton. And it was good that the club were proactive enough to have a replacement lined up in Jesper Dorland, and he's come in and was chucked right into the deep end in this South Wales derby and really made a big impression. And now if I was Dimi Gutas, I'd be worried about getting my spot back in that side, because he, like I said, complete breath of fresh air and looks a real exciting player. He came in for a reported fee of £3.5 million. And what the rumour mill is telling me at the moment is that there could potentially be a striker lined up, and there's been names linked across Europe, and not names that I can really remember off the top of my head, but I feel that Errol Bullitt will want to bring in one more, maybe two, before the window shuts. And so, again, I feel like there still could be some activity for us left to do. Still could be some outgoings. We actually secured a few outgoings a few days ago in the likes of Eli King going to League One, Kieran Evans going down to Torquay United, or no, Newport County he went to in League Two, and Joel Colwell, Ruben's younger brother, completed a move to Cheltenham on loan for the season. So it's nice to see that these players that were that came in pre-season made a good impression from what we've seen, and of course they need first team minutes and allow them to evolve as individuals and as players. Seem like good steps in the right direction for the youngsters. And so at the moment I think we're still just trying to let the dust settle from the game yesterday, but I'm very confident that we can see some more activity to take place throughout the next week or so. And at the same time, like I said, it's a very tough start for us in terms of fixtures, but to go to Swansea and take a point off of them and to score our first goal, secure our first point, this really could be the turning point now in our season where we really start to get the wheels in motion.
Aye, 100%. What about any whispers of Perry NG, or has it all gone flat there?
It's gone flat with Perry, thankfully. It's gone flat with Ruben as well. And couldn't have asked anything better really, because obviously that's going to be big boots to fill if all of a sudden we've received an offer we can't refuse for Perry, and it's never an easy feat to fill those boots in such a short period of time. So touch wood, it stays as it is, and all it comes down to is just us finding a striker who can just really put the ball in the back of the net, and again, just some genuine competition there for Robinson. I don't want to speak too soon about Kanga, but of course, watching him in the last 2 or 3 games, when he's got the service, he hasn't done a lot with it. But again, it's 3 games in. I don't know if it's entirely fair that I write him off too soon, but I still feel we just need a big name striker within that price range of around £6 to £7 million. I think that's what we're missing, and that could be the big piece of the puzzle that we're lacking.
And then throughout the week, obviously you test yourself at home against Premier League opposition, newly promoted Premier League opposition, obviously Southampton in the EFL Cup, and then on Saturday, Borough come to town. So a lot more optimism in the air.
100%. Like I said, I think that game was going to go one way or the other, that South Wales derby. It was going to completely kill off my interest for this entire season, like early doors, or we were going to come away with a respectable result where, it's right there to think that, we've still got a long way to go. And again, just take into account that it's a really difficult start for us, like Borough are no mugs by all means, and then of course a Southampton side that we're very familiar with of last season. I just hope we start Kean Ashford in it and he can score another 20-yard screamer in the 90th minute. So, but yes, Southampton in the cup. Nice to give Russell Martin another bit of taste of his own medicine for being a dirty Jack bastard. Like I said, the momentum's there, mate. The momentum's there, and I'm sure he'll receive a warm welcome.
I'm sure it'll be very
from the 500 show up on the Tuesday night.
I think that's both teams very well.
Both teams, and we
covered.
Managed an hour and 5 minutes.
It was always going to be a busy one.
It was
today. There was always going to be a lot to talk about with derbies and transfers and everything else. But I think we're ready. Should we go on to the last last segment.
Absolutely. And what is this last segment you speak of, Mayhem?
So, newly introduced, much like we're hoping there'll be some players in Glasgow newly introduced. Performance of the week. So we're both gonna throughout the week we're gonna pick the performance, and then we're gonna have a chat, and we're gonna decide who gets performance of these. Could be a player, could be a manager. Tactically performing. Could be a team overall. Could be a ball boy. Remember when Jose Mourinho was high-fiving the ball boy when he gave the ball back and he threw it on and Tottenham scored?
When Eden Hazard kicked the Swansea one? Oh, fucking good old days they were.
It could be.
Yeah, you knew that was good. As soon as you mentioned ball boy, my face lit up.
I wonder if we should do a segment. Where are they now?
Oh my goodness.
Probably on the dole, knowing him. But
I think he started like his own brand, like his own like liquor or whatever. I don't know. Who cares? He still touches kids, probably.
That's getting cut.
No, it ain't.
So performance of the week. So I'll hand it over to you. Who is your nominee for performance of the week? This feels like should have a performance of the week.
Yeah, I've got to make a jingle for this, haven't I? I've got to make a proper jingle. Performance of the week. My performance of the week. This is my nominee, and like I said, I've only looked it up today, like earlier this evening, because I hadn't watched any Premier League football this weekend, and mainly because my time was taken up watching. I watched a bit of the Celtic game on the early. Was it early Sunday? Was it before the South Wales derby? Yeah, it was. So yeah, my Sunday was completely taken up with that. Saturday, there was just no games that really took my interest, and so I didn't really give the Premier League the time of day. But I did see one scoreline which stood out to me. And it took place in a particular city that a player from the opposing side apparently took to social media to say everything about this city is shit. Now, just off of that quote, I didn't say it. He posted it. This individual then goes into this fixture and, of course, received a very, very warm reception from the home fans, and a hat-trick in 14 minutes, and an interview afterwards apologising whilst giggling is probably the biggest shithousery you'll ever see from any professional football player or just anyone involved in football. My nominee goes to Mr. NoniMadueke of Chelsea. Well done.
It's a solid nominee. He rustled a few feathers in the Black Country, definitely. My nominee is for a team. And we are veering up north. We're moving away from the Black Country, so Wolves, never fear. I'm not doubling down on you.
Don't rub salt in the wounds there.
I like Gary O'Neill. He's a good guy. For me, I think this is a team that has, in recent years, been Jekyll and Hyde. Championship team had a fantastic first season back. After a little while, they were then hampered because the owners decided to employ an absolute falsehood of a manager, and now they are out with that. They've delivered 3 from 3. Unfortunately, one did come against the Bluebirds, but this week with 10 men going on to beat, I think, many people's favourites to win this league, Burnley. So my nominee for performance of the week is Sunderland.
Good shot.
1-0 home winners. I think it was their youngster up front. I think he was only 21 that scored the goal. Let me fact check that. Mundle. 21-year-old. Yeah. assisted by someone extremely close to my heart as well, Paddy Roberts, setting up the goal. But yeah, outwith of the Michael Beale era, they seem to have found just a sort of collective energy that seems to build in the Northeast. I mean, Newcastle had it when they went on, when Eddie Howe come in and they went on and they achieved that Champions League feat, and then you felt it obviously on those Champions League nights. There's something special about the Northeast. Again, Borough, when Michael Carrick first come in and they had their playoff surge. And yeah, I think that Sunderland are building again. Obviously, there's a massive fan base there. And I think after the start they've made, they'll be really hopeful of what they can do. But I think, to put a real hurdle in Scott Parker's Burnley team that have absolutely steamrolled everybody so far is a fantastic performance. And look, the red card come late. I don't think they were down to 10 men for very long. It was pretty late in the game, but still, it's 85th minute that they go down to 10 men, but they've still then got to survive injury time and everything. So collectively, probably about 10 minutes, and they've held on to beat probably everyone's favourites to win the championship, and they probably will if they perform anything like they can do. And we've seen that in the first 2 weeks, they probably will win the league. So yeah, for me, nomination is Sunderland. So let's discuss: are we going shithousery, or are we going for overperforming? Is it? I don't know. I think probably
do we
overperforming.
Want Wolves fans calling us out on social media? Do we want Newcastle fans going, Sunderland's a massive club? Are they fuck? You can't really decide.
I mean, to caveat it, and Sunderland fans can call us out here. I don't think Newcastle have got too much to really rain down on. I still think it's pretty clear who the superior club in the Northeast is. So Gateshead. But
oh, you've made it. We got to go Sunderland for that.
But yeah, I think Sunderland, it was a top performance. But I completely rate the shithousery from MattORiley to put that out on social media and then to go and deliver. And to be fair, you've almost got to back Maresca as well for keeping him in the team after he's done that. I mean, this is a guy that gave Endo Fernandez the captain's armband, so I don't think he's going to be phased by him putting up on social media. But you've got to go back that up after because if you go there and you do fuck all, you are going to get lit up.
Yeah, honestly, I think the whole story of this with NoniMadueke is beautiful. Absolutely, you couldn't write it as well. This is someone who has come in as one of Chelsea's many projects and has come with a lot of potential, and to be afforded the opportunity to start for Chelsea, put something on social media that was going to completely piss off an entire fan base. Not even just the fan base, just the people of the Black Country who follow Wolves, and then goes into this game and scores a second half hat trick, and then gets interviewed after the game because obviously he got man of the match for it, and he's going there, sorry, yeah, it's actually a nice place. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's top shithousery, and what it does mean, ultimately, if he falls flat on his face at Chelsea, he's always going to be welcome at West Brom. So fair play to him.
Yeah, maybe Sunderland could take him. Could be a replacement for Jack Clark, who's apparently on his way out for a fee of between 20 to 25 million to Ipswich. So they will most likely be quite proactive in the remaining days of the transfer window being open.
I'll make a good episode on Netflix, won't it? Sunderland till I die. When they're scrambling around. Apparently, that all come out that it was bullshit. Who was the player that did that interview that said that the whole document was it Aidan McGeady?
Yeah,
That would make sense.
He recently went onto a podcast and said something, didn't he?
Yeah, it would make sense why I would have seen it if it was Aidan McGeady saying it. But yeah, I think it was. I may be throwing Aidan. Look, if you're out there and it wasn't you, come on the podcast. Put it all right, mate. Come on down.
Yeah. Get on, man. Get on, man. You're a hero of ours.
But yeah, a lot of speculation around whether or not that might have been a little bit bullshit, that series. But no, it makes for good viewing.
Hey, I enjoyed it. Right, final vote. Who are we going for? I've got to back my boy Nonny.
Yeah, look, I think I'm a real. I have a real soft spot for shithousery.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna side with you. You're 1-0 up. You've picked performance of the week, and I think the argument was there from the delivery of evidence.
Yeah. But I like the Sunderland argument as well. The one, I thought that was a very strong candidate. But
they've started well.
They really have. They really have. And like I said, they were going to be a team that were really going to be up there come the end of the season. They've got a really good squad and a good project going on there. And fingers crossed that they find themselves back up in the big time. So we see another derby.
It's a great derby as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the championship's starting to heat up. Obviously, Leeds got their first win as well, away at Sheffield Wednesday, who I think they've quite quickly forgotten all their heroes of absolutely battering Plymouth on the opening day, because they're maybe getting a little bit scared that this season may be more difficult than they imagined on there. But yeah, Leeds up and running.
And they just sold Jorginho Rutter to Brighton as well for 40 million. Brighton splashing the cash right now.
I was so hoping when that transfer went through that they didn't have enough for MattORiley.
Turns out they did.
Yeah. But I think that's a lovely place to leave it.
It is.
To say,
absolutely.
MattORiley, thank you. You leave. I don't think there's anyone that has any malice. We expected you to go in the summer. You give us 3 more games. He's got it all, hasn't he? He's tall, he's handsome, he's pretty good at football. He talks really well. I wish him all the best. I hope it'll be every success at Brighton. And come back one day, please.
A beautiful send-off. Well, before we start shedding tears and head into the freezer for a pot of Häagen-Dazs, we're going to wrap things up. Mayhem, what an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Thank you, mate.
Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, we are available on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Audible. We're even now on TikTok as well, so drop us a follow over there and drop us some likes on our clips throughout the week. You can also check us out on YouTube whilst you're over on our page of the Football Booth. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring that bell for notifications. And until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.